Yay! Listings are an all-time low ever, right? So what that means is we have to what?
Chase it.
Chase it, right? So what are you doing today to chase it, Cody?
I should be dropping off CMAs and making calls.
Right. It's so why don't we do more?
We don't know what to do.
No, I think we know what to do. He just told you what we need to do, right?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But are we not gonna have any other participants?
No, unfortunately. Carlos was the only one and he's today. So it'll be the three of us.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess the most exciting part about today is that it is the if you get a listing, that's when the magic begins. And that because that's what we're seeing on listings now is that all of the activity that happens around a listing because everybody's focused on watching where the new supply is coming on the market because there's not enough homes for sale. We're continuing to see that there's excess demand in the marketplace, why supply is so low. So it's really, I think it's starting to change our pitch to the benefits of, you know, how much equity do you have in the house? And what would you do with it? Right, because starting to pitch people on, because the term in the market is if the demand remains low, which is expected, right? So what's trending now is that through the first 11 days of the market, meaning there's going to be 21 total business days, and there's been 6 so far for about a third of the marketplace. The average sales price is running lower. So once this gets out into the marketplace, you're ahead of it now because nobody knows, because we're talking about what will close in July is going to be at a lower sales price. So we're just in that part of the marketplace where the lower volume from the luxury sales has slowed down, and therefore the pricing starting to reflect what's really in the marketplace, which is lower prices due to higher interest rates. So I mean, the key is, again, back to conversations, is trying to make sure you're focused daily on goals and having conversations with people. So whether it's your friends, whether it's for your open house visitors, whether it's for leads, but dedicating the time, no matter how hard it is to dedicate the time to get out there, but that's how we're going to list more houses. So when was the last time you listed a house, Cody?
I have one right now.
Yay! How did you find it?
C. Buckley just came in and I called him and chased him.
Awesome, right? So then it's just thinking about, well, okay, well, how do I recreate that? So you called somebody and you got a lead, right? So it's just refocusing on just being out there and being aggressive.
But I think the pushback that I've been getting on people on the fence of selling their house is, well, rates are high. So it's either they don't want to sell because they don't know where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you have to just realize that that person's not going to move. It's more of,
Got it.
you know, knowing that, okay, well, they said no, they said no, they said no, they said no. That's why we're calling more people, is because less people are saying yes. So you have to spend more time trying to find the yes.
Right.
Versus staying on the person that says, you know, I mean, because it's going to be, okay, are you going to list no? 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 And it's hard because it's a lot of work, right? So it's grinding through the you know, it's why dangling a buyer is key to sellers. Is in an area where you have a buyer, it would be a chance for you to knock on doors or a chance for you to visit open houses, but trying to do something to create activity, right? So, you know, obviously we have more buyers than sellers now because we have lots of leads, but it's what are we doing on behalf of those buyers to find new supply, so.
So when talking to listings that are on hold or they're not sure, you think now is the time to sell?
Well, I mean, to me, the pitch is what we talked about in the team meeting, and that is that, I mean, clearly the Fed is. Once rates higher, and I understand why, is because they're trying to slow down the economy because of inflation. So we can't change that, but what happens is because we had over a 20-year period of prices. I think people need to understand that we had this. And now we're here, right? So the question is where is the risk to the upside? I think that's the picture people have to
We
understand.
do have a lot that are just looking, not sure right now if they want to sell.
Yeah, no, so the conversation is more of, okay, well, if you have 400,000 in equity and that's gonna be 250, do you still have that opinion? Right, because once that, I think, for the first time in probably. Maybe even 6 years, 7 years, do we have what will be a motivated group of sellers, right? And that is two groups is the VRBO groups. Right, because those people are not seeing the volume of traffic, so they're not seeing the profit, so that is either gonna. I mean, we haven't seen it in rental rates, because rental rates are actually, in the Phoenix area, rental rates are highest of all time.
But that's the long-term rental rates, right?
That's the long-term rental rates, that's not the VRBOs, because I thought that, the frustration of, meaning. What was the extra buyers in 2020 and 2021 that were buying for VRBO, those houses could be sellers. Because before is where is the sellers gonna come from? The other thing is I think that probably maybe the commercial impact of the marketplace is going to have hedge funds trying to sell some of their supply. Right, because they stopped buying, and usually when people stop buying, they start selling. Right, because that's what it is, but hedge funds who own a lot of supply in Phoenix. Right, once these prices start to head down due to in the back half of the year, will we start to finally see, because right now we have the major theme that we have that's dominating why people are still way optimistic is what, Adam?
Why people are still optimistic?
Yeah,
Because there's no inventory.
no supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, cause we're supply is at 10,258 or whatever the number is. But once that number starts to rise, then where will the optimism go? But we're not there yet. So now it's just, I think it's gonna be finding the people that are desperate. Right, people that are out of money, people that are not working, or people that have a death or a divorce or whatever it is.
That need to unlock their equity.
That need to, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, the good news is we still have, when we, get to this point where there's a lot of equity in these houses, and these people are gonna wanna access that equity. It's why I wanna come out with a home buying program, but I just don't think it's yet until prices are a little bit lower.
Mhm.
We're working on raising money for that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, when people see the high numbers, like my dad has a few rentals, one my sister lives in, and when I was with him today, we were going over the price, or speaking, we were going over the price, and he's like, if I could get that number. Right now, I would sell it, and he hadn't even thought about selling it. I don't think he realized how much it was worth now.
yeah, and I think that's the conversation is you have to, when you see a seller, look at what they bought it from. I mean, the one I was looking at for Patty Levinsky's is, they bought it for, 700,000. But they put down 200,000, so they only had a mortgage of 500,000. And then they sold it for 1.5, so.
Wow.
That's insane.
Right, but the thing is so now you're pitching them that you can pull 1 million out.
Right.
Even though the gross profit is less than 1 million, right? Like, to me, I think that that is the key, is that you look at and pitch them on what is their mortgage versus what is their sales price, and talk about that bigger number and incentive people. Cause I think that we're still talking what you could sell for versus what is the number out. I think that is
Yeah.
probably the key point of today, is talking about what is your, meaning, when you're talking to somebody, you look at their tax record to see what they purchased it for, and then see what their mortgage amount, because typically their mortgage, if they bought it in the last 5 years, is 10% down. So it inflates the number that you're pitching them on, because that's your cash number out. I mean, it's what, I'm thinking about selling my primary residence. And the reason is because I'm like, this is probably gonna be the highest number we're gonna see for a while, meaning, because the feds come out and said, we're gonna have higher rates for longer. So if we're at this 7% number, right, like anytime we're above 6.5, we're looking at decreasing demand. There's nothing we can do. I mean, it's hard because it's what makes, real estate difficult, because you have to get out and work harder every single day, even though the market is very slow, right? Because instead of selling what I said was 220,000 people moving, now we only have 120, and that's why we were talking about, Cody, in the beginning, of looking for the ones that are moving, because there's less percentage of the people moving. It's we always want to have the conversation of, hey, well, how do I convince this person to sell? And to me, it's better to focus on trying to find a new person. There's actually less time if you find the right person than if you try and, because where people fail is they kind of try and spend all the time trying to convince this person, and people don't change. So in general, the best people decide and make changes, but in general, they say the masses are the asses, right? Because they don't change. They just want to it's always, I want it to be easier. I don't want it to be harder, right? So that I can have all the money today.
Good stuff.
That's what the message is right now. Pretty simple. It's just that we have decreasing demand, but the exciting thing is that when we do list, it creates lots of opportunity. I mean, we sign calls, open house opportunities. It's trying to focus on the prize, that the prize is, wow, more sales. I mean, you had Sharon telling stories and Patty telling stories about, selling their houses because the marketplace is very rich if you can find one to bring to marketplace. So happy Wednesday. Thank you.